Actually. Hey everybody, Susan Kellner-Zinck, Dawning Visions Hypnosis here to talk about how to stay sane in an insane world. It does seem like things are getting a little bit better now that we understand that perhaps, maybe, just maybe, if Palestinians are going to do better than we thought with the Palestinian-Israeli deal over there in Gaza. That's good news, no matter who you are, because that has been going on for way too long. However, that may be what it is. We'll have to find out over time. What about a lot of the other stuff that we see going on around us? We get a lot of bad news about a lot of people who are in a lot of very, shall we say, positions where they have access to confidential and, shall we say, materials that very few people have access to in the government. Going ahead and giving it to those people who are our known adversaries for a buck. And then we get the news of all the craziness that happened over the last few years and how it really was made into something much larger than it actually was when we understand the truth of the matter for those people who are willing to see through the smoke and mirrors and not be brainwashed by, shall we say, people who do not think for themselves. I myself found myself yesterday having an insane interaction with one of my professors in my psychology department, where I had just thanked her. It was a thank you note for taking the time to really read through my work and to make really constructive, helpful comments. Because my previous professor was a lazy piece of crap. All he commented on was the APA formatting. Yes, APA formatting is important in doctoral programs, but it's not as important as putting together a paper with the research and having a point of view and being able to back it up with research. That's why we're in school, to learn how to do that and learn how to assess the articles and come up with our own conclusions. Otherwise, there's no need to be in any degree higher than elementary school. But even the really good elementary schools will teach a kid how to critically think. Well, maybe not today, but in my day they did. So I reminded him in my return email with a copy and paste from himself that I wasn't asking him to divulge anything about the other students because the stuff I was talking about had everything to do with the discussion posts, which are open to everybody because we have to comment on them. So crazy. And my main problem was that too many of the students in the course are not commenting on anybody who comments back to them. So it's like you're writing all of this information to have it be ignored, which sucks. Of course, there's a learning process involved. As you are doing the research and looking up the information, of course, I'll have articles that maybe I didn't have before based on new research. But that being as may, the gentleman decided that he thought he should go and tell the director of the program. The director of the program, who I reminded him, or maybe he didn't know this, knows me all too well, because I was in her face about the idiocy of how it was that they only wanted me to do a stupid, ridiculous project on why or why not state-licensed mental health providers were using hypnotism in their practices. That is not why I took this program. It will never be why I took the program, and I will have to either leave the program or find a way to do my research independently. Because the whole point was to prove the efficacy of the training I did at that very same university in their instructional design and technology course, which is a great course with great instructors all the way through. But the doctoral program, oh my God, it is a piece of crap, man. These people don't know crap about anything. It's like all they want to do is get you on something. They can't just relax. And maybe it's because it's a bunch of academic psychologists and maybe they're the worst, because some of them may be in practice, but my guess is that few of them have been in practice as long as I have, nor have studied physical health, hypnotism, and neurolinguistic programming on top of psychology and psychiatry. At least some of the students are engaged and really appreciate me being in their classes. They tell me this at the very end of the class, like the 6 weeks of the class. So there are a few, but it's just insane. In every other program I've ever been in, from bachelor's or even in elementary school, for God's sakes, and I have 3 master's degrees, all right? One from this university, instructional design and technology. One from the school that was previous from the school ate it up, if you will, after it was eating up a different school, which would be Ashford University, whose degree I was reimbursed for because they were basically telling students that they were able to make a lot more money than they could with the degrees they were getting, and they were extracting way too much money from the student loan money for what they were providing, according to the state of California, who sued them. It was that lucky day when I looked at my email and I saw, I swear to you, a letter from the US government telling me that I had gotten reimbursed. How cool is that? For the entire program and all my living expenses. How perfect is that? So I'm here to tell you sometimes things can work out, and that's how I paid for my second year of my prerequisites. But from there, I'm going to have to go elsewhere because they don't have any clinical advisors here, which is okay. Or I'll just do it on my own. It doesn't matter. But that's how you get sane in an insane world. You just notice it as the insanity it is, come up with a different corrective measure for yourself. You call people out on their garbage, and you move forward strong and bolder than you ever were before. As always, I thank you for spending your time with me. Till next time. Bye-bye.